Hey, hi guys, welcome to my channel. So in this video, we'll be discussing about strings, which is another type of data which we handle in any programming language, right? So what are strings? So strings are typically alphabets or alphanumeric values. So let's try to see. Now, suppose till now we have studied, integers. We have probably studied, floats as well. We have also studied that, we can, we have also studied Boolean type of data. So type of, if I do x equal to y, it will give me Boolean. Type of x will give me integer. Type of y will give me float. Type 16 is a float, right? However, if I just try to write Gaurav, okay, and can I write Gaurav like this without any quotes? No. What does it say? It says name Gaurav is not defined. So basically, it is saying that it doesn't know what Gaurav is. But I can use Gaurav as a variable, right? It is not a good practice to use names as variables, but now it will understand what is Gaurav. But if I write it within quotes, let's try to see what does this represent. It's basically it's a string, right? So we can have single quote, we can have double quote, right? We can have triple quotes as well. Triple quotes basically allows me to write multiple lines with multiple lines as well, right? So here you can see this backslash and basically represents a new line character. So if I do print of ABC, so if I write print of ABC backslash DEF, you can see here the DEF gets printed in the next line because of backslash and. It represents a new line character. New line, right? So let's talk about more about strings. So now if you say true, Python understands it's a Boolean because you can see it has become green in color. So if I do type of true, it understands. However, if I write it with capital true, it will not work because Python is case sensitive, right? It only understands true and false with the first letter in caps lock or title case, right? But if I, however, write this, and if I do type of, it's a string. So when you put it within the quote, it becomes a string. You can put anything there. You can put numbers, whatever you wish to put, and it'll always be a string. Okay, once you put it within the quotes, it becomes a string. And if you want to indicate any data which contains a name, a company's name, or proper nouns, or whatever it is, sentences, paragraphs, movie titles, names of employees, all these things will be stored in Python as objects, or what you call as strings. Okay. Now let's try to see if any kind of mathematical operations can be done on these strings. So suppose I say string of 2, right? So this is basically a string because the 2 is within quotes, and now it is just a string. That's it, right? So my 2 will not be equal to 2 because one is a string and other one is an integer, right? So if I do 2 into 3, it will give me 6, obvious. But if I do quote of 2 into 3, what does it give me, right? It gives me 2, 2, 2. So it simply concatenates or adds, right? It just adds up, not even adds, just joins basically, right? 2's 3 times. So if I write Gaurav and I multiply it by say 3, so it'll write Gaurav 3 times, right? So even spaces are also a part of strings. This is a white space, right? If I multiply it by 3, it will give a space at the end of Gaurav 3 times. We'll just repeat the string that mean number of times. Now, can I do string of 2 divide by 3? It doesn't work because it doesn't know how to divide the string. If I do Gaurav and I divide by 4, it will not work. But can I do, say, Gaurav plus 2? It doesn't work because it will not know how to add Gaurav to 2. because one is string, the other one is integers. But however, if I multiply, it will work, because that 2 will be simply, it will repeat itself that many number of times, right? But if I multiply it by 2.5 again, will it work? No, because it doesn't know how to interpret the 0.4, right? Gaurav into 0.4 is what? Will it be half the letters or 1/4 the letters? No, we don't know. That it cannot interpret that. But if I multiply it by an integer or a whole number per se, if I multiply it by Gaurav by 0, see what happened? It just gave me an empty string. This is an empty string, right? If I do not write anything, it's an empty string. Very interesting. But if I multiply it by 0.3 here, it will not work, because it doesn't know how to take the decimal part out of it. A fraction of a string is not doable, right? Okay. However, can I add a string with a string? Let's see. Is with us. Simply again concatenates, right? God of plus anything, it will just concatenate it. Sorry, if I do this plus whatever it is, right? It will simply concatenate, join the strings together. So mathematical operations, of course, you can see the plus, but if I do use plus, at the same time, can I use minus? So most of these things are basically common sense, right? You're able to understand quickly if you, get your hands a little bit, play around with Jupyter Notebook and try to understand in a much more meaningful way rather than mugging it up. So you can see here Gaurav minus Das. Of course, Python doesn't know how to subtract Das from Gaurav. Even we can't do that, right? It's not possible. But can I multiply Gaurav by 2? But of course, in our maths classes 101, we didn't know how to use strings and numbers together. But Python has a way of doing things. Programming languages can sometimes operate mathematical operations, provided that if you want an interaction between a string and an integer, it has to be in a format of a multiplication, because it will repeat that string that many number of times as the integer. So I just put it within quotes. So I have to put it like this. If I want x to be repeated n number of times, 4 times, right? Other than that, if I want any other operation to work, if I want plus to work, it has to be both strings. I need to put both as strings. Otherwise, my plus operator will fail. However, division and subtraction will not work in any of the cases. Can we extract a portion of a string from a string instead of using the subtraction, which it's difficult to interpret, right? But can I, from Gaurav Das, can I extract the Das out? Yes, of course we can. But if I want to extract a portion of a string from the entire string, can I do that? Yes, we can. So suppose if I have Gaurav and Das, can I extract the Das part out? Can I extract the surnames from names of people? Can I extract phone numbers from a particular resume? Can I automate the process? Yes, we can, right? So if we want to extract the Das part out of it, probably I have to save it, say x is equal to Gaurav space Das, and then what I'll use is I'll simply do what is this part? This is called as slicing out. When you try to extract, right, a portion of data, a sample from a bigger data set, that is called as slicing. It can be a table, it can be some other containers, it can be a string as well. We can indeed extract sub-information from informations. So we can indeed extract sub-data. So we can indeed extract a portion, a sample from an entire data. And this is called as slicing. So we'll try to understand this more clearly in the next video. Stay tuned, please share, like, and subscribe.